Hello and welcome back to 10 with Zen, presented today by Helen Woodward. Today we're celebrating International Women's Day and I'm delighted that my guest is Dr. Phuntsho Dolma, who is the Associate Professor at Paro College of Education from the Royal University of Bhutan. And Phuntsho, I know you've recently had 3 days of inspection for your new programme, and I know colleagues in the UK will know very well what inspections are like and will understand. So thank you so much for joining us.
No problem at all being on New Year Day. Actually, it's a special treat for me as currently working as an associate professor in Paro College of Education under Royal University of Bhutan. Coming March, we are launching 4 new programs in the history of Bhutan. The Master of Education in Primary Maths, and then same thing for Science and Social Studies and English. We are simultaneously introducing 4 new programs for the first time happening actually so far. So we are so excited, but kept us so busy.
That's a fantastic achievement. For our listeners, the Kingdom of Bhutan is a beautiful country. It borders India, Nepal and China. The population is just under 800,000. And the kingdom is carbon negative, which is an amazing achievement, and famous for gross national happiness being an indicator of progress and development. So Phuntsho, you lead teacher training in Bhutan. Can you tell us firstly about that teacher training, how you recruit your students and which subjects they study to teach in school?
Right now we have only 2 colleges of education, one in Paro and the other one in Samsi. And then these 2 colleges of education have their own role to play. In Paro, our main focus is on primary education, whereas in Samsi, they do on secondary education. And then in our college, we train mainly primary school teachers. Actually, at the moment, we offer like 4 years degree, bachelor degree for primary curriculum. The teachers who graduate from this program, they'll have to teach all the subjects in primary school, like except the national language Dzongkha. Other than that, they'll have to teach maths, English, social studies, and science. When they pass out, they get a bachelor degree in primary education. Yearly, we produce around 250 or something teachers.
Okay.
But then in past 10 years, like we used to have all those teachers used to get absorbed in the schools. As we produce, all used to get the job. But now, I think now the teachers at the number, I think we are quite, comfortable. So they wanted to screen out. They take in only what is required in the schools. So for that purpose, they'll have to sit for national service, civil service exams. So and then they take only those numbers required for them. But besides that, we also offer a master in leadership in management. This is a part-time so far. And we have recently introduced a new master program in inclusive education. In other college in the south, in Samsi, their role is mainly for the secondary, and then they train secondary teachers for all the subjects like math, science, social studies, economics, so all those secondary subjects.
I see. So your primary training is very similar to the UK, actually, that the primary teachers teach all across the subjects, and secondary, they train in their subject knowledge and then do their teacher training. And it's very interesting that your students also sit the civil service exams. And that some of them are then recruited into civil service roles. Yeah. So do tell us, Phuntsho, what methodology underpins your training process and the standards for your teachers in Bhutan?
My teaching subject is maths. So I think I will encourage our students to use the constructivist ideas, not like the teacher centered, but student centered. Not on one-sided, not that teachers doing everything, but encouraging students to do something, construct their own knowledge. And then under constructivist, we are more on social constructivist ideas, especially in math. That we are very much into that.
It's very interesting to hear that you've got that big move towards students students practicing and developing and sharing their own knowledge. So that kind of social constructivism approach throughout your work. Yes. I'd really like to ask you about gross national happiness. And what does that policy and commitment look like in practice for teacher training and in how teachers work with children in schools? How does that manifest itself? What does it look like?
We kind of try to be very mindful of what we do, and make sure that your action, your behavior do not harm others. We call it like Tadamsili Judy, means like we more or less believe on cause and effect. So like if you do something, you wrap that result based on what you do. So more or less we try to be mindful. What I strongly believe is this is something you should be inside each individual students, so that we don't have to quote with certain rules and principles, but it should come out from them from inside. We also have a center in our college we call Wellbeing Center, where we talk to the students, and also more or less geared to that mindfulness activities, and like do anything but to be mindful, so that your action do not harm others. Our national language is called Zonka, and then we have a subject called Zonka, and in the content of that subject we also had all fully laden with values and attitudes. So more or less our job is to put a strong seed inside them. So that kind of activities we do, so that like it should come from inside. So that's why like we don't have such like theories as such, but this is basic things we follow, starting from our home actually, and then the teachers, and then when they come to the college, like actually by that time they should be like more or less already having those seeds in them. So what we do is we just try to nurture them and enhance further on from there.
I think that's something that I've just taken from this conversation, is that lovely idea of nurturing a strong seed inside. And I have to say, when I was in Bhutan, something that really struck me was the very lovely and warm public messaging that we frequently saw. So signs reminding people, be kind to your environment, be kind to animals. Looking after your environment helps you have a healthy mind. Lots of really beautifully written and drawn messages. On the environment, I know environmental care and sustainability is really important to you in the Kingdom of Bhutan. And the Kingdom isn't only carbon neutral, but actually carbon negative, which is amazing. So how is caring for the environment brought into the curriculum, so that this is sustainable, so it continues?
One thing is planting trees. If you fell one, you should make sure that you plant two. 2nd June is considered as a National Forest Day, the birth anniversary of the third king. Celebrate this occasion. We try to, because we normally consider him as a father of modern Bhutan. So just to remember him, we try to plant as many trees as possible, because we feel that that's the main thing, which gives us so many things, like having trees is not only adds beauty, but it has so much of advantages. Every year in all the schools, or in every corner of the country, we make sure every year we have this social forestry day. So this is main thing we do at school and the college level. This is something we are really proud of it. And we also have a day in the schools, a day in the college. We send our students going around, picking all those rubbish and then dump in a proper place. And we also try to educate our people around us, because sometimes people tend to, like, we know in the beginning we used to do actually for them, but then I think we thought it's not a good thing, we are just pampering them. Then we thought later, I think we'd rather educate our community rather than do it for them. So now we don't not only help them, but we also try to educate them, like the advantages of keeping ourselves clean, and advantages of putting things in the right place. And then we also talk the disadvantage of throwing all those the waste products like plastic and all, manufactured things, how harmful it is to our soil and also the environment. So these are kind of thing we try to do it in a small way, not in bigger way, but in a small way. But little by bit, we are trying to maintain it.
It's making me think, do you know what, on International Women's Day, I think I might plant a tree. That would be a good way to celebrate, I think. But also I'm very aware that what you're talking about, I have very much seen in practice, because I remember when I was in Bhutan seeing, in fact, asking your nephew and saying to Tashi, what are these people doing? And he said, oh, they knew there would be a lot of people here today because of the celebration. So they've made food to come and share. And people who had just made and were offering food to travellers, which I thought was, again, really quite moving. And let me just ask you how you and your students will celebrate International Women's Day in Bhutan on the 8th of March. What will you do?
I was asking my friends, because who are in the, in the Thimphu, and do you celebrate the nation? Because then they say normally not as such, but I think what we do is we gather and we go out. Thank you, Helen. But this is something, eye-opening question for us, is something to think about now, Father.
Yes, perhaps this will be a first for you. And perhaps this will be a first time that you celebrate International Women's Day, Phuntsho. I always find it interesting and very enjoyable to hear your news and about the work you're doing. I hope one day I'll be able to visit Bhutan again and that we'll meet face to face. And thank you so much for being our guest today on 10 with Zen.
I think this is a real, very valuable gift for me on this New Year Day. So this is something which I'll never forget it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.